Don't forget to say that's when I fell in love with Cleveland.
Okay.
I'm like, we ain't capturing this. Oh,
Always recording. My name is Nwaka Onwusa, and I am the Chief Curator and Vice President here at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And can you tell me exactly what a Chief Curator is, what your position is?
Gosh, okay, that is such a loaded question, but what a Chief Curator is, took me a while to really understand and get an idea of what a curator is, but basically, the long short, you're the storyteller, identifying key artifacts, identifying key photography that you want to help tell the visual story of your narrative. Audio-visual components, there's writing involved, there's insurance, there's legal stuff involved. Everything you can absolutely think of is a part of the curating process. And there's so much, and obviously it can be as big or as small, and it's based on the square footage of your show. So the Chief Curator is the one who's responsible for the blanket of all of that, the text, the photography, the video, the licensing. Making sure the artifacts arrive on time, connecting our collections team with the right folks. It all starts with the curator, and that idea is what's planted to the rest of the team. So that's what I get to do. I'm a storyteller. I'm a curator.
I love that. So, but this isn't like your first time doing this. You used to work at the Grammy Museum.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Cool. So, being at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is really exciting. Before I got here, I started my journey at the Grammy Museum in Los Angeles, California, and that's where I'm from, born and raised. And it was an amazing experience. These institutions like the Grammy Museum, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, are really beautiful places that house our historical and musical content. Our musical DNA is archived here. Sure, you can have your archive at home, but museums like that make those stories, those exhibits, much more tangible to the visitor. And so being at the Grammy Museum, I learned so much about music, about artists who I thought I knew about, and it's you don't know everything. That's the beautiful thing about being in any career, and that's what excites me, that's what drives me, is what am I going to learn out of this? What is today going to teach me? What is this exhibit going to teach me? So I got a chance to touch on not only the genres that I love day to day, listening to hip hop, listening to R&B, jazz, whatever it might be, classical music. I got to explore so many different genres of different languages that I don't even speak or understand, but it's the messages in the music that connect us all. And that's what I learned at the Grammy Museum in a nutshell. It's just broad music appreciation and a respect for the craft and what music museums mean to our society today.
So you started this position at the Rock Hall back in 2019, fall of 2019. And then all of a sudden 2020 happens.
2020 happens.
And the pandemic spreads across the world and it hits everywhere, including Cleveland. But yet you still you're still here, you're still, thriving, and you're still making your mark. Can you tell me a little bit about what allowed you to, stay strong and stay focused as, we were experiencing such an unprecedented time?
Gosh, that's what we've all definitely been going through, how to get through during a pandemic. How do we make it through? And I am so grateful I moved here when I did. I'm grateful for 2019. I'm also grateful for 2020 because, like you said, there have been blessings. It's been good and bad and ugly. But being in Cleveland at the time that I got here in 2019, it truly showed me I had a full scope of the year. So I moved here January 4th, 2019, with no furniture, nothing, just my books and my notes and my clothes and shoes. And, getting to the city, watching the season change, coming from LA, it's rain or hot. And that's it's those two things. And so to really have a fall and a spring and to really go through seasons was something that was so beautiful to me, and I think I learned something in each transition of a season. It was a moment of transformation. So that's having that experience in 2019 is when I really, really fell in love with the city, interacting with powerful moments that happened here at the Rock Hall, the Best of Cleveland, like all of these really, really great moments I got to experience. Wade Oval, the summer concerts on the east side, on the west side. Like, it was just such a great experience to interact with community. And the spirit of Cleveland, whether it's like about the Browns, go Browns, I didn't understand it until I moved here. And now it's like, I get it. I'm like, no, I have a Browns jersey. And no, I'm riding with the energy of the city, because Clevelanders, and now that I am one, I have Cleveland ID, so it's official. Do my taxes here. So being a Clevelander to me in this city, and why I'm still here and why I stay, is because the drive, the heart, the loyalty, the hard work, and the hustle is what I relate to, and that's what drives me, and that's why I'm here. And to be in this role, something that I'm passionate about, I fell in love with this museum when I first stepped foot. It was like, okay, this may be a little naive, but where do I sign on the dotted lines? This place is amazing. This place is phenomenal. It's so inspiring. And so for someone who is supposed to create stories that inspire others and to be inspired by the place where you work, it's like no brainer. Then to feel that energy translated not only with beyond my job, because it has to be a level of balance. You gotta find the joys in where you are. And I didn't do all this research on Cleveland, so I was like, I'm just gonna fall in love with it as the city gives itself to me. And every single day has been absolutely amazing. So that's why I'm here. It's the music that keeps me here, and it truly is the spirit of Cleveland. It's powerful. It's a powerful drug.
That's awesome. So you mentioned how you've had a lot of experiences, and I was creeping through your Instagram page, and I saw all the different people that you met,
yes,
including the Obamas, while they were still in the White House.
Yes.
But it's funny because you also have something somewhat in common with them in the fact that Kamala Harris, who is the first of so many things, is now the Vice President of the United States. But you're also, a vice president of your position, yeah. And you guys almost kind of came in around the same time. So what is that like? Like, what does that mean to you to know that you share such close similarities with Kamala?
Oh my God. I love that question, and that's so dope to even think that. Like, and definitely I've thought it, because it's just, I think just having an opportunity to trailblaze and really be in a space where it's like, wow, okay, no, I'm the first chief curator, Black female chief curator here. Like, that's who I am. That's what I've worked for. That's what I worked so hard for. And sure, there was a moment I'm still in awe of it, but it's like, you got to get down and get to it and get to work. And that's what I draw upon from Kamala Harris. I mean, she's, a West Coaster too. We wear our chucks. We're out here. I mean, she's just such an inspiration.
So, where do you draw inspiration from?
Music. So I draw my inspiration from music. It's definitely something that is a part of me every single day. Whether I don't restrict myself to genre, but I find inspiration in music, and definitely gospel music. I mean, like I think I said this earlier, I grew up in the church, so my inspirations definitely come from gospel or contemporary inspirational music or just instrumental music. I'm finding my mood in that too. So that's very inspiring, and definitely watching documentaries, and that's an inspiration. Just seeing how people have their resilience and the level to overcome only feeds my soul. And even just looking at our ancestors, thinking about people that we've lost. This is a big part of Black culture, and not looking upon the dead in a negative way, but drawing from their strength in a positive way. And we just recently lost Cicely Tyson. So, pulling from her strength, pulling from her, her resilience, her gifts, and how fearless she was. You know, we're ladies with shortcuts. Like, she's an inspiration to me. Like, why even cut my hair? So her and Grace Jones and so many other amazing, phenomenal Black women. But drawing inspiration from our ancestors and our elders.
And speaking of culture, we were talking a little bit earlier about how you are Nigerian.
Yeah.
I am well versed in like the African culture, but especially Nigerians.
Nice.
So I know that you guys take pride in, you know, which ethnic group you're part of. Which one are you part of?
So I am Nigerian American. I got to shout out my mom too. So my dad's Nigerian. My mom is from Louisiana, and I, you know, my name definitely has a meaning. Me and my siblings, we all have long names they're very significant meanings. So my name means child greater than money. It's actually Nwaka Onwusa Lashira, that's my mom, Onwusa. And but basically Nwaka Ego, it's an Igbo name, and so my dad's Igbo. And shout out to Delta State. But yeah, my name means child greater than money, and there was a significant story behind that. Like, my parents, they weren't able to have children and were, you know, wondering if they needed, you know, to go the medical route and spend a whole bunch of money on doing that, and just a whole bunch of things going on with my family. But I came along in that 7th year, so it's like beyond all of everything else that's going on, child greater than money. So that's how I got my name.
That's great. And your persona even obviously feels greater than money. Like, you're so rich in your spirit, but you don't. It's just, you're awesome.
Come on. Yes.
So again, going back to like your Grammy experience, as I was again scrolling through, I saw that you've met so many different people, so many different singers, even actors of different genres when it comes to singers. What is your most memorable experience?
Ooh, okay. So my most memorable experience, okay, I would say to another revolutionary woman who we celebrated January 10th, that would be Afeni Shakur. I got a chance to meet Afeni, and I had the huge honor to curate an exhibit on her son, the late Tupac Amaru Shakur, at the Grammy Museum. And it was just such a phenomenal experience to like see his notebooks and really like touch on his collection and like just really get to experience that. And the day that we opened the exhibit, I got to walk Miss Afeni Shakur through, and that was just so phenomenal. I mean, she held my hand, she grabbed my hand and squeezed it and was like, Pocky would be really proud. Like, this is amazing. And so that, we exchanged words, and that was like, damn, from a revolutionary, like this woman, like we all look up to. So I will always remember and cherish that moment. I will also have to say another memorable moment is definitely meeting the Obamas. Like, I feel like I willed that whole thing. I didn't know how that was going to happen or when it was going to happen. It was just like, God, I would love to meet, like, and work with, and I was just very intentional, and I wrote this down in my journal. Like, I keep a journal and I write daily, and I wrote that in there. And then like a couple of years later, it was like, oh my God, I am at the White House. I'm in the White House, and Michelle and Barack are right here. No, it was so amazing. But I got a chance to, while I was the education coordinator, I got a chance to interact and create curriculum and identify kids from across the country for their In Performance at the White House series. And it was a great experience and a phenomenal team that I had a chance to work with. So getting to do that, meeting some of the people, I mean, Aretha Franklin was in the room, and meeting Smokey Robinson and LeVar Burton reading Rainbow. I mean, like, it was crazy. And I had grits in the White House. Like, it was it was an amazing experience. So there are more like that. I mean, gosh, meeting Taylor Swift, doing her exhibit. I mean, there's just tons of phenomenal moments, but those will be my highlights.
How would you describe yourself?
How would I describe myself? Okay, I would describe myself as definitely very passionate. I mean, my passion can be taken a whole lot of ways, but I'm passionate. I think I'm funny, so I'm going to say that. You asked how I feel about myself. So I feel passionate. I feel that I'm a funny person with a good humor. I believe that I'm a strong and hard worker, obsessed with doing a good job. I think work ethic, definitely learned that from my parents and seeing them just hustle and grind and going to work with them. I love that these kids are here, like, shadowing their dad. Like, that is so dope. Like, my mom used to be she used to be an interior decorator and a florist. So we had a flower shop and all this stuff, and that was my first job. And she would dress windows for this guy named Mr. Haley in Compton. And so we would go with her and, like, hold the tape and, like, hold the baskets, and, like, she would get in the window and do this and, like, hey, how does this look? Like, hey, you got eyes, how does it look? Like, speak up. How does it look? So I was curating, and I didn't even know, like, we're dressing windows, and I'm doing, I mean, and sure, I'm not trying to dumb it down, like, by any of this craft in what we're doing here, but, like, hey, this should go here, move that there, turn this way. And I learned that from my mom. She arranged flowers, and it was like, get in here, I got a wedding to do, like, I'm gonna need you to get these flowers in here. Look, this is what you do. Put the oasis in there, tape it down, put some water in here. I mean, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I'm gonna need you to do the bottom, middle, and the top. Like, and I mean, and she had a whole formula, and I follow that. And it's like, there's pillars in everything. Like, there's pillars to hip hop. There's pillars to what rock and roll is. Like, there's pillars to what you do. And it's like, dang, now that I'm in this role, in this position, I look back at all of that. And it's like, damn, that helped me to be who I am right now. So that is so cool. That's so awesome. Anyway.
Well, I think we're at time.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was awesome.